Women's national team forward Carli Lloyd is calling it a career.
One of the greatest U.S. women's soccer players, Carli Lloyd, is retiring.
For me, I am just super proud that I did it my way. Literally put my head down every single day and tried to be the best that I possibly could be. For me, you know, I'm proud of the journey.
She's been nothing but a great teammate, great friend, and just very motivational on and off the field, and I'm really going to miss you, Claude.
She's not only changed the world for people on the outside, people on the inside that live with her day to day and see how she trains and how she works, like life-changing for me.
It is inspiring, motivating, honorable.
It has honestly been one of the greatest honours of my career so far. Hardest working, most loyal, gifted, talented, amazing human being and teammate. So yeah, we're going to miss you, Carl.
Final regular season game for Carli Lloyd as we welcome you to the NWSL here on CBS. It is Gotham FC in the black uniforms, racing Louisville in white with Lori Lindsay and Marissa Pilla. I'm JP Dellacamera. We are just about set for the kickoff. Final day of the regular season. One other game going on as well that will have some playoff implications. We'll get you updated during our show. It is Washington playing at Houston. That game started an hour before us. Immediately the ball goes out of play. Lori, what are we looking for early in this?
Well, I really think it's going to come down to the mentality that Gotham FC starts this game with. In a lot of ways, a must-win game for them to take care of business today, build momentum going into next weekend when the playoffs start.
Racing Louisville will put it back into play with a throw-in. They made 3 changes in their lineup from Thursday, which includes the insertion of Emily Fox back into their starting 11. She played for the U.S. a full 90 on Tuesday against South Korea. Gotham has the same team that they played Thursday, just a few days later, but their head coach Scott Parkinson says they're used to a condensed schedule. They're not worried about this.
No, and especially with what's on the line in terms of potential home field advantage next weekend when the playoffs start, and just closing out this regular season, the celebration of Carli Lloyd here at home. A lot to play for. Certainly want to get off to a strong start in this game.
Standings wise, we're going to show you 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 because 6 and 7, one of those two will get that final playoff spot. It was scoreless at the half between those two teams. First and second place goes to Portland and OL Reign. They have a bye to the semifinals. Kaylin Sheridan in goal will push it to the left side. Sent forward by Freeman. Racing Louisville will cut this one off into the middle. Ashley. It's played across by Real. And now it'll go back to goal, where Katie Lund gets the start, playing for the injured Michelle Betos. Zabroni's pass is cut off.
Yeah, JP, we talked about Gotham getting off to a strong start, taking care of business in this game, but the same with Racing Louisville. Felt like that in the last game. They gave Gotham too much respect in the first 30 minutes. Once they were able to press higher up the field, were able to control more of the game, get themselves back into it on Thursday night, getting the equalizer, ended up in that 1-1 tie. Already seeing them a little bit more determination coming into this game, pressing higher up the field, where they can be the most successful.
McCaskill blocked. She's back in the starting 11 after not starting the other night. Held up there. Lloyd sending it in. It is blocked and loose and finally cleared away. We'll go all the way back to Sheridan. 14 career shutouts. That ties the club record held by Brittany Cameron. So Sheridan representing Canada. They were the gold medal winners these past Olympics. Long ball ahead from Real. She was looking for Salmon. Pushed across on the right side. Emily Fox. She can play just about anywhere for this team. right back, left back, in the midfield, in a diamond formation, doesn't seem to matter.
It is in the right back position today, but most likely we'll see her more in the attack. Gives them a good threat on that right-hand side going forward. Coming back from international duty, got the rest, the majority of the game on Thursday against Gotham. Certainly have fresh legs coming in here today.
Lloyd with it. Looks at her options. Trying to get through. Denied. Carly battles, and this time the foul goes against her.
Well, it's good pressure from Olofsson early on just to manage to see where Carly Lloyd is, because the last thing they're going to want is her running at the back line, driving. That's where she's been most successful against the opposition.
Racing Louisville will have a throw in. They're in 9th place standings-wise. They've already set a record most points for an expansion team with 21. The previous best, Orlando, had 19 in 2016, but it's been an interesting year for this club. A lot of young players, Lori, a lot of injuries, international players that they got late, so many things, coaching change.
It was always going to be a challenging year for Racing Louisville, being the only expansion team, but then you add in the youth to them, and also just the ups and downs of a season, having to grind out a lot of games in a short amount of time. Have gotten some important wins, especially with having Michelle Betos, one of the veteran players, in goal majority of the season, out injured today. And then Emily Fox, #1 draft pick, has stepped up, done really well both on the back line, but getting into the attack as well.
High press there from Gotham. Moved over by Bonner. On the break, it was intended for McCaskill, cut off. Ooh, bad giveaway there by Gotham. But Freeman dealt with it. Trying to find Lloyd. Nagasato. Moving it up the middle. Options there. The cut by Kaiser, and that's cut off. Lewandowski cleared it ahead for Lloyd. Number 10 in black. Thought she had drawn a foul there, but it was won by Racing.
And it's a really good start to the game for Racing Louisville. Good pressure early on. Just forcing the quick turnovers from the back line of Gotham, getting themselves in good positions. One of the players to keep an eye on is Cece Kaiser. A little bit of a opportunistic chance there from Ebony Salmon. Exactly what you want from a young striker, but Cece Kaiser, they're attacking midfield. Can they get her in good positions to be running at the back line, good in front of goal, honest work rate.
There's the captain, McCall Zerboni. Pass up the right side, set ahead. Midge Parsons on the move, but that's too easy for Lund. Our Serie A game ended late, so we didn't get any kind of a pregame. We could have showed you a couple of things. We'll just tell you what you missed. All the Gotham players came out wearing a Carly Lloyd number 10 jersey. That was a nice tribute to Carly. Nice photo op as well.
It's really been fun to be able to, as a fan, watch these games, but also call these matches as Carly Lloyd's career starts to wind down a bit. You were on the call for her last national team game on Tuesday. Still unfinished business when it comes to NWSL. Has never won an NWSL championship. Hasn't been to the playoffs as an individual or this Gotham team since 2013. Certainly will be their motivation today.
She knows she's got at least one more game after this. Playoffs start next weekend. Right side. Carly. Doubled up. End line. Wants to cross it. Too close to goal. Purse was there though. Rolling it up the middle. Just one road win all season for Racing Louisville. They've given up the most goals in the league total and also on the road. Ashley's cut. McCaskill's cross. That one out. Let's go downstairs and introduce the third member of our broadcast team, Marissa Pillow.
If you've been paying attention to NWSL social media this season, you'll know one of the best aspects of a Gotham home match are the pregame outfits. Before each and every game, all the Gotham players strut their stuff down the sideline runway and really show off some of their best looks. It's an opportunity for them to define themselves as individuals before they take the field as a team. And defender Caprice Didasco told me really sets the tone for home games. Kind of that look good, feel good, play good mentality.
I thought it was going to be a corner. It's a goal kick instead for Racing Louisville.
Well, that's a better tempo from Gotham FC in their attacking half. Just looking to link play, quick little combinations, and then it's Carly Lloyd, the one that plays person. Look to see if she can get in line. Those moments, the tempo of 1 and 2 touch, but can they find those one-touch moments almost to play quicker than Racing Louisville can get pressure on them?
To show you how committed Carly is, she played, a little bit better than an hour Tuesday night. Thursday, full 90, couldn't get her off the field in that game at Louisville, and she starts again this afternoon. 64 degrees at kickoff. Gorgeous late October match, final day of October. Halloween as well. Here's Nagasato's pass that's blocked. Didasco will pick it up. Moving it ahead to Lloyd. Nice outlet on the right. They'll try to keep it moving to Purse, and then it's turned over. Nagasato. Left there into the middle. It's coming back to Real. Bonner. Picked off there. First ball finds Lloyd. Carly drifting, trying to find the space. Allie Long, 150th start for Allie Long in the NWSL. What a career she's had for club and country. Freeman, outside, Eddy. That's knocked away. Elizabeth Eddy recovers nicely. Up the middle for Zerboni. Oh, she had him. She had Onumonu. Wide left, this cross coming in is cleared. And that's going to go against Gotham.
One of the things, JP, coming into this game for Racing Louisville was about getting tighter collectively when they have the ball, creating little opportunities to create overloads, but also link play. Felt like they got too stretched against Gotham on Thursday. And then defensively, though, so far in the opening 10 minutes have done a really good job once they do lose the ball in good position to get numbers behind it, denying any sort of opportunity for Gotham to be able to get clear looks.
Because of that draw last night, North Carolina and Portland, Gotham clinched a spot in the playoffs. First time since 2013, but they could finish as high as 4th or as low as 6th. And whether they get a home game or not will depend on what happens today in this game and the other game between Washington and Houston. Zerboni. Try to find Onumonu. Played back by Bonner. Zerboni. Kamasumi will push it back to Eddy. Lloyd finding the space. Nice move, end line, and that ball just went out. Would have been a sweet play had she kept that one in. Almost did.
And we've seen her do those little step overs time and time again and leave defenders in the dust. And it's Carly Lloyd's movement that opens up this game, forcing the 1v1 for Olsen. This is the defensive midfielder for Racing Louisville, having to track all the way back. Carly Lloyd would have been able to keep that in. Opportunities with players running into the box for Gotham.
There's a great feature on Carly coming up at halftime, so keep it here. She's trying to soak in everything. She was at the Red Bulls game yesterday against Montreal, interviewed at halftime. Her family was with her as well. So Lund will put it back into play. It's only her 4th start. Got a player down for Racing Louisville just outside the circle. That slows down the action here in the 14th minute. Emily Fox. Everyone will cringe when she is down, although that doesn't look serious.
No, certainly slow to get up, and didn't see what happened off the ball because it didn't see any sort of direct contact. A lot of minutes, though, that she's played coming right off of her college career into this 2021 NWSL season, and now starting to get looks again with the U.S. Women's National Team.
She's only 22, very young, but has already had 2 ACL tears. So anytime she goes down, there's always going to be some anticipation, but that doesn't seem like it was anything serious. Let's go downstairs to Mercer Pillar.
Louisville's Emily Fox is tasked with defending Gotham's Carly Lloyd after just being teammates in Lloyd's final national team match this past Tuesday. For almost 3/4 of Fox's life, Lloyd has been on the U.S. Women's National Team. Now Fox finds herself part of that generation of the national team players who are carrying on Lloyd's legacy. Fox hopes to emulate Lloyd's ability to work hard under any circumstances or doubt in her career, saying she always admired how Lloyd never let anyone else define her. But for the remainder of this match, the only thing Fox is focused on now is not letting Lloyd find the back of the net.
We're going to see a substitution. They're not going to take any chances. Let's hope it's nothing serious for Fox and that it's just precautionary. But Neely Martin, who started the other night, is going to replace her. I was going to ask you to top off Marissa's story, Laura. You've played on club teams and on the national team. How different or difficult was it to play against a teammate, club team, that you were a national team teammate of?
It wasn't difficult. It was fun, and that's where all the trash talking came in. But obviously for a young player like Emily Fox, who would have idolized and really looked up to Carly Lloyd for all the years that she played with the women's national team, never an easy opponent to play against. Tough to see Emily Fox have to be subbed out this early as well. Just gives them a different threat going forward, whether she's playing in the left back position or the right back. Neely Martin getting some good experience as of late. She'll be able to step in nicely.
Freeman holds there for Gotham. Gave that ball away. Intended for Kaiser. That's cut off. Freeman with another go at it. Up for Onumonu. She got clipped. And a whistle from referee Karen Ept for that foul. There's a free kick coming up. Drawn by Onumonu, who has 8 goals. Second only to Midge Purse on this team. But Onumonu leads the team in shots on target. Shots taken.
JP, it's just a little thing, but with Neely Martin coming into this game not fresh, that is something that Gotham will want to look for in these next few minutes, seeing if they can get Carly making those runs on Amano in that space in behind. Ask the questions of Neely Martin if she's going to step defensively or just hold her position with the back line of Racing Louisville. Kawasumi as well on that left-hand side with just her nuance and her play and experience being key to go down that left-hand side.
18th minute, zeros on the scoreboard. Gotham FC, Racing Louisville, 4th meeting in all competitions this season. Played once in the Challenge Cup earlier, back in May. Driven long, left side. Salmon left it. Nagasato. Cut off by Zerboni. Purse, 4 goals in her last 4 games for Purse. Upfield it comes towards Lloyd. Out of play. Belongs to Racing Louisville. Julia Ashley will take this throw-in. She was originally drafted by Gotham when they were sky blue, but went to Europe instead, wanted to have her right straight. And that's when nobody really wanted to play for sky blue. They've been able to turn that image around.
And one of the reasons why you and I have mentioned that in terms of mentality, this is a must-win game, because if you haven't made the playoffs, it's your first year since 2013, it's not only about performing well next weekend, it's about continuing to build that culture of a winning mentality.
Purse. It was a nice move initially, but it will go out again, and Lund will put it back into play for Racing Louisville. Gotham comes into this one unbeaten in their last 7, 3 wins and 4 draws. They've not lost under Scott Parkinson, but they'd like to go into that playoff game with some momentum and don't want to have a bad result today no matter what to stop that streak. Taken away from Salmon. Freeman. Pressure there. Didasco. Short ball into the middle. Zerboni. Long. Didasco. Lewandowski back for Kalen Sheridan. Louisville back on it. Pressure on the ball, far side. Kawasumi battles. And the foul is drawn by her.
JP, there's going to be moments in this game for Gotham just to slow things down, be a bit more pragmatic.
In for Purse. Settling it, no flag. Purse. Oh, that deflection may have saved that from becoming a goal. Corner.
And of course, talking about being pragmatic, Carly Lloyd plays a great ball into Midge Purse. Takes it down so well. Great first touch. Forcing the big play defensively from Racing Louisville.
Didasco will take the corner. She has taken more corners than any player in this league in 2021.
The big question with these set pieces and restarts will be how Racing Louisville deals with Carly Lloyd. One of the things that they talked about coming into this game, they double team her, do whatever they can to push her off balance.
Didasco near post, cleared by McCaskill. Salmon's on the run. She's just 20 years of age and has been capped by England's full national team. Recently came back from being with the under-23s. Freeman will catch up for Sheridan. Ball left. Kawasumi's side. Zerboni returning the favor. Runners in the box for Gotham. Kawasumi's cross. What a collision that was. It comes out to Zerboni. Settled there. Lloyd moving it left. Kawasumi, a fancy play to Lloyd. The return didn't work. Picked by Louisville. Taken back. Eddie in the box for Lloyd. Knocked away. Cleared by Louisville. Upfield. Nagasato, 3 World Cups, 2 Olympics for Japan. And now back for Bonner.
And that entire attack from Gotham started from Kawasumi's positioning out wide, stretching out Racing Louisville defensively. That opened up the inner channels for them to be able to play through. Initial defending from Louisville is so good. They're compact centrally, trying to find Carly Lloyd, but then they condense the field. Kawasumi doing a good job of staying on the touch line, allowing for her to be able to get in line and start to connect and combine with Carly Lloyd or Anamanu higher up the field.
Didasco all the way back. The chase by Long. Didasco keeping it on the deck. The look was for Zerboni. She battles and won it and then got tripped. It's going to be a free kick for Gotham. No card, just a conversation.
And no other than McCall Zerboni in the mix. We've seen this time and time again. It's a good run out of the midfield, though, from McCall Zerboni, just giving them a bit of a different dimension in the attack. In the end, gets tangled with Lauren Millay. Does a good job of tracking back defensively as well, helping out.
Free kick, Didasco. Scoreless in the 24th minute. Didasco's ready to deliver, sends it in low, headed down and up and wide. Good opportunity.
Oh, great opportunity. Good ball in from Didasco. Just whipped into that near post. No one marks Onumonu. She gets herself free. Does everything right. You want to head that down. Just gets over a little too much. You can see the power. He sends that one over the crossbar in the end.
Besides the 8 goals, she has 4 assists on the year, and her goal Thursday against the same team was her first in 9 games. Played forward, but behind Gotham. Lloyd tries to draw the foul and does. Free kick, Gotham in a good spot.
And it's these moments where Gotham can be so dangerous. They've pushed Racing Louisville back defensively. Difficult for them to pick up players. And it's Carli Lloyd that's coming through. It's good. Flipped in the end from Olofsson.
Katie Lund setting up the wall. He's some 28 to 30 yards out. Not quite a straight shot, but pretty close. Floated up by Didasco, heading high over the bar. For guess who?
Carli Lloyd is always going to be the targets on this. Another good ball served in, whipped in with some pace from Didasco. Carli Lloyd doing all she can in the mix to try to get herself free, but it's Kaiser in the end that at least gets a body on her to push her off balance, forces her to send it over, but it is offside in the end. Another decent look.
We had a good look at what she fights through just to get open.
If you're Racing Louisville, that's all you have to do, though, is continue to get a body on her, at least push her off balance so she can't get a clear look. Well done from the young attacking midfielder with CeCe Kaiser to get back and at least make the play.
Just shy of the halfway line. Racing Louisville will put it back into play. They've already had to make one change due to injury, maybe precaution with Emily Fox going out. Didasco for Gotham. Purse under pressure. Zerboni almost got that through to Onumonu. Look at the crowd she draws. Salmon cut off by Zerboni. So much experience. We talked about the youth of Louisville, but look at the experience. Long, Zerboni, Lloyd, right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it was to my point earlier that I was starting to make about being more pragmatic. They're so good when teams get stretched out. They can find Purse, Onumonu, whether they're checking back or finding a space in behind. But when teams are set up defensively, can they be better with the ball? And that's where Zerboni and Long will come into play. Just take care of the ball, move it quickly, side to side, especially when you're heading into the playoffs. Having a little bit more diversity in the attack will be key for Gotham.
Now they high press, results in the pick from Didasco. Immediate look was for Onumonu, but they rushed that one. One will roll it ahead, Bonner. Coach Mario Sanchez talked about being a great leader for this team on and off the field. They missed her with injury earlier. Intended for Salmon, it deflects. Lloyd couldn't get it. McCaskill, formerly with Chicago, looking for her former Chicago teammate as well, Nagasato. Zerboni finds herself free. Soft pass ahead. Purse on the move. Mitch Purse draws a crowd. Slotting it nicely. Zerboni. One took too long. Lloyd will find it though. Sent into the box. That's cleared away. Zerboni, first one on it for Long. Gotham want to keep this pressure on. Didasco thinking about the cross, lets it go, but it's over Lund. Goal kick, Racing Louisville.
JP, just watching Racing Louisville defensively, Lauren Millay just does not get enough credit for the work that she does off the ball. Does such a good job of getting back, covering for players, getting the initial pressure on the ball. Had a good start to this game.
Second half score, Washington and Houston. No score, Washington has already clinched the playoff spot. Houston would like to. And it's all about seeding as well. So one playoff spot is up for grabs today, but also seeding. One thing we know for sure, number one is Portland. We congratulate them for winning the Supporters Shield, or NWSL Shield as it's called. And Oil Reign, who finished in second place. Big win for them last night on the road in Kansas City, 3-0. Those two teams get a bye into the semifinals, the NWSL playoffs.
What an exciting year this has been. Never had this much parity, or coming down to the last day to see who was going to get in. And you know, case in point, North Carolina having to wait and see some of the other results of these games to see if they can get in. Typically one of those 1 or 2 seeds.
Yeah, they won back-to-back championships prior to the COVID year. Ashley plays it back. Up the middle, it missed Millet. McCaskill will drop it back to Bonner. The long look was for Salmon. It wasn't close. And now Eddie will pick it up in her own half. Freeman. Long. Zerboni. That one went out of play. Somebody's hurt. I thought somebody was hurt. It is the goalkeeper, Sheridan, who went down. Mentioned Scott Parkinson hasn't lost since he's taken over. Tough to take over a team, whether it's in the middle of the season or even towards the end. But he's done a good job with them. But right now the concern is on Sheridan. When I saw that ball kicked out, I wondered. I looked around to see who was injured. Not sure what happened to her, but it was behind the play.
We never like to see this. And if you remember, JP, back in the She Believes Cup earlier this year, went down.
First game, right?
Yep.
Against the U.S.
And then did everything she could to get back to make the Canadian Olympic team. Obviously went on to win gold.
If they need to go to the bench, Didi Haracic has been as good a backup as there has been in this league all season. Had to take over when Sheridan was with the national team and did well. But as play is stopped, we're past the half-hour mark. So what's your overall take of the first 30-plus minutes?
Well, the first 10 minutes or so, I thought Racing Louisville was very good, stepping up their pressure, forcing Gotham to cough up balls, and had a few attempts on goal, or at least promising in the attack. But since then, Gotham's done a good job of working their way into the game, putting higher pressure themselves. Now for Gotham, it's going to be about the execution in the final third, just being patient when it's needed, finding the best pass possible going forward to find that go-ahead goal.
And Sheridan appears to be okay, walking back to goal. Outstanding record this season. 6 shutouts current year. If she can get one today, she'll have the career record for her club.
It doesn't seem like a lot, JP, but having to substitute Emily Fox off early in this game, she really is such a threat coming out of the back, allows for the overloads out wide, getting crosses in. And that seems, since that injury, they've certainly been a bit more on their heels defensively, pushed back into their own defensive half, Racing Louisville.
Play resumes with an Ashley throw-in. And they'll give the ball back to Gotham. And a nice gesture of sportsmanship. It's Freeman. Moving it left. Eddie. Defended by McCaskill. Over the top. Anumanu on the run. You've got Lloyd and Purse making runs in the box. Anumanu, end line, cutting it back. It's blocked. Purse got to it, and then, oh, that stayed in play. The entire ball, no. I thought the entire ball did not go out from this view, but assistant referee has a different look.
Well, it's the exact space that we've been talking about. Neely Martin just gets caught in no man's land, decides she's going to step, but then that ball is played in behind the space that she just vacated. Manu caught offside on that second attempt.
Driven along by Lund. Ball control. Manu. Back for Freeman. Chased by Salmon. Eddie. Kamasumi. Ball is turned over. Here's racing on the ball, slipping it through. That's blocked. Intended for Kaiser. Collision there. Gotham breaks. Lloyd settles and cuts. Finding the open player. The simple pass ahead to Long. Kamasumi. Into the middle. Zerboni. Open on this right side was Didasco, but the pass was behind him.
Yeah, it's a poor first touch from Zerboni, knowing where she wants to play that ball out to Didasco. Just open up your hips, spray it out wide. That ball can connect, and then they're off and running going forward. Little details right now that are letting Gotham down.
35th minute, scoreless as Lloyd takes it, flicks it on Amano. Kamasumi, Eddie's coming on the left. Elizabeth Eddy, far side, 1v1 at the moment. Manu, end line. Eddie wants to left-footed across, tries, earns a corner. Eddie in her 7th year out of USC. Didasco drives it, headed, and then cleared out for another corner.
Bonner in a great position just to make sure she clears that so it doesn't get a good look. But JP, much like we were talking about with Gotham in terms of being able to keep possession, they're gonna have to find somebody racing Louisville to get on the ball, help them, because right now they're in defense the entire majority of this first half.
Up for grabs, headed across, loose in the box and then cleared. Sent back in, initially by Lloyd. Lloyd will get it back, try to go outside with that ball, and instead, it's up for Salmon. Ebony Salmon on the go, leads the team in goals scored. To McCaskill, she tried to return it. Will try again. Intended for Nagasato, that's taken away. Lloyd, but a late whistle because of an injury to Zerboni. In her 9th year in the NWSL, 2nd here, 2-time best 11 player. One of the true leaders of this team.
We see a lot of players so far in this first half, JP, that have been down, just some different knocks you typically don't see. And sometimes you wonder if this back-to-back games with the travel, how much of that affects these players, especially with limited rotation for both squads.
How do you have rest and recovery if it's 2 games in 4 days,
Yeah,
really? And in
exactly.
one team's case, or both teams, they had to travel back.
Defensively, Gotham doing a good job just stepping in, making sure Nagasato is not able to turn and face forward. It's tough to tell what happened to Zerboni. It looked like she was holding her head or her eye. Didn't see any hand or arm come up.
38th minute. Still scoreless here. Gotham has already clinched a spot in the NWSL playoffs. Racing Louisville finishing off their expansion year. Washington leads 1-0. Trinity Rodman, what a year she has had. A lot of people touting her for a Vlatko Andonovski call-up in the national team.
Yeah, she certainly deserves it. Has been so impactful for that young Washington team going forward. Integral part in their attack, and for such a young player to grind it out and be such an important part to a team that's been successful throughout this year is not easy.
A lot of people trying to figure out how the Spirit did it this year with all the confusion, the ownership struggle. Richie Burke getting fired. 2 forfeits because of their failure to handle the COVID protocols. And here they are. They might finish in 3rd place.
We were 2 of those people trying to figure it out. A lot of credit to the players, regardless, keep showing up, are consistent in their play. And I think the most remarkable thing is having to forfeit 2 of those games, but still clinching playoffs last weekend and getting the job done when needed.
Give the players a ton of credit there. As that ball is cleared out, throw in for Gotham. Dydasco. The long pass. Here's Dydasco again, somewhat free, able to cross. That's cleared. Nodded back down to Mike Gotham. Lloyd trying to slip through in the box. Good hustle there. Lund should grab this and does.
Yeah, and right now Lund needs just to take a deep breath, allow her team to get in a more expansive shape, get higher up the field. Because as I was saying a second ago, they've been on defense the last 20, 25 minutes. The last thing they're going to do is continue to absorb this pressure from Gotham throughout the rest of this game. Just regroup yourselves, get higher pressure up the field, look to see if you can get Cece Kaiser and Nagasato on the ball even more than they have been.
Nagasato looking for Salmon, breaking in. He didn't get off much of a shot. It's a goal kick for Sheridan. Let's go downstairs again to Mercipilla.
Racing Louisville started this first half with a lot of high press and pressure, but assistant coach Gary Curneen said he knew that wasn't going to last long because of those back-to-back games you said that they have played in the last 4 days. So right now, Racing Louisville really just wants to stay compact in their defense, make sure that they're not giving up any more set plays in difficult areas for Gotham. And going forward, they want to get midfielders Cece Kaiser and Savannah McCaskill on the ball more to do exactly what they just did and feed Ebony Salmon up top.
Upfield comes Anumanu, a heavy touch. Looked like she was going to be able to cut that one back. It was knocked out for a corner. Now Washington-Houston score, besides giving Washington 3rd place, North Carolina would get that last playoff spot. Houston would not make the playoffs if that result stands. That game started about an hour before ours did, so we'll get an end result before we go off air. Now the Dydasco corner. Showing forward is Kawasumi. There's a decoy, comes out to Eddie. Hurst way out, looping it for Lloyd, heavy touch.
And JP, the irony of what you're just talking about in terms of the standings is that if Washington does win this game, they finish 3rd. North Carolina hoping they do win because that gets them in. But those 2 teams are playing next weekend in the first round of the playoffs.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
There are those standings. Congratulations to Portland and OL Reign for finishing in 1st and 2nd. But if these results stand, Washington will end up in 3rd place. Look for a while to be out of the playoffs long before this final weekend of play. Out for a throw-in. Last night in that draw against Portland, Casey Murphy made 5 saves, got her 11th shutout of the year, and that ties the record held by A.D. French when she had played for Portland a few years ago. Free kick coming up for Gotham, nearing the end of the first half of play.
I think these are the moments when Gotham can start to create an even higher tempo, get Dydasco on the ball, look to see if you can find Allie Long, start moving the ball even quicker. A quick turnaround for both of these teams. Last thing, Louisville, who hasn't had a good record, only 1 win away from home.
Oh, nice ball, Kawasumi to Lloyd! Tackled away. She was double teamed. Corner, Gotham.
The last thing that Racing Louisville is going to want to do is away from home, having to chase the ball around even quicker than they are. Right now, it's just too slow. do find Carly Lloyd sneaking in that back post, but it's two players from Racing Louisville doing a good job of converging on her. Just getting the ball away from danger.
Fifth quarter for Gotham. They had 11 on Thursday. Sent all the way across. Headed once. Lund is there. Grabs it in traffic. Coming up on our halftime report, we'll take a retrospective look at Carly Lloyd and a look ahead of the key matchups in the 2021 NWSL playoffs. Halftime right around the corner. '44th minute. Long ball from Lund. Nagasato. Try to spring Salmon on that side. It comes back to Sheridan. Eddie with it. As we enter this final minute, Lloyd, let's get your take on the way this first half has played out.
Well, Gotham doing a good job of starting to step up their pressure, finding opportunities in the final third. Just nothing that's really testing Lund in goal. And that's credit to Racing Louisville throughout this game, whether it's higher up the field or sitting in a lower block. They've absorbed the pressure nicely, made things predictable for themselves. Going into the second half, it's really going to be about these wide channels for Gotham to pull out that pressure and compactness defensively for Racing Louisville.
Nagasato with it. Kawasumi was open, but Onumano could not find her. Looked like they were going to get maybe one more chance at it before the end of the half, and they still might, because there's about 4 minutes added on in stoppage time. Waiting for the official signal as it goes back for Lund, and now we see it. Minimum of 4 minutes added on here in stoppage time. We've had a few stoppages for injury in this first half. Sent it forward, try to find McCaskill. Lewandowski's header for Eddie. Kawasumi for Onumano. That's tackled away as well. It'll be a Gotham throw-in.
I think Mario Sanchez, Racing Louisville coach, will be extremely happy with this first half, executing the game plan extremely well, denying a lot of opportunities. For Racing Louisville going into the second half, it's just going to be about how can they be more threatening in those transitional moments. Because if you are going to be compact defensively, you got to be able to find Ebony Salmon and Cece Kaiser sitting underneath her in those spaces to create opportunities going forward.
Onumano was the player that was down. That will add more stoppage time to this.
Tough challenge from Bonner coming in. Does get the ball, but also gets a little piece of Onumano in the end. It's been a big piece for Racing Louisville towards the end of the stretch, getting Bonner back from injury, shoring things up defensively. One of the important pieces on Thursday's game to step up that line and really shift the momentum for Racing Louisville to be able to get that equalizer at home.
It's a nice play by McCaskill. All the way to the right side. Into the box, that's cleared away. It's nearly Martin's attempt. Kawasumi. Eddie on the run, up the left side. The left back sends it forward into space, and the flag goes up on Mitch Purse. Goes for her this season, besides playoff spots that were up for grabs. So is the Golden Boot race.
Ooh, that's a tough call. I'm not so sure she was offside. Very close, if it is. First time that we've seen her in that inside-out run, looking to cut across the back line for Racing Louisville.
Of course, is another player on the cusp of the U.S. national team. First capped in 2019, 7 caps to her total. As one of those considered for the Olympics. On that far side, she can take it, but it's coming back. Purse is just booked. First booking of the match.
That ball certainly was out of bounds. It's a late call. You can see Purse. A little frustration setting in. It's been so good this entire season, whether it's playing right back position or higher up the field. Not a ton of chances so far this afternoon.
Lewandowski. Didasco. Ball given away. Pass up from Ashley. Bonner. Well, that's going to do it. First half has come to a close. No goals on the scoreboard, but we've got a second half still to come your way. Final game in regular season play for the great Carli Lloyd. What a story we have coming up. It's all about Carli. Come back with us, a retrospective look at one of the game's all-time greats.
Welcome back to Red Bull Arena. It is halftime here. A scoreless first half between Gotham FC and Racing Louisville. I'm here with Gotham defender Caprice Didasco. Caprice, your team had a lot of possession in that attacking third. How can you continue to push the tempo in the second?
Yeah, I think from last game we really talked about being composed on the ball, when to going long, when to play feet. So I think we're finding a balance, and I think we just need to have more composure and find the final piece of just finding that cross or that finish.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mercer. Well, from Delran, New Jersey to the U.S. national team, what a journey this has been. Here's the Carli Lloyd story.
I haven't truly processed my career. I've never wanted myself to go there. I've never wanted myself to feel that I've achieved anything, really.
Delran residents, can we just make a little bit of noise? A little bit of noise.
I've always taken the field as if I haven't had any success.
Tonight we're celebrating the incredible career of our own Carli Lloyd. Ladies and gentlemen, Carli Lloyd!
You block out the noise and you block out every aspect that could penetrate and derail you from your dreams of being the best that you can be. As I say goodbye to my time on the field, it won't be a goodbye forever. And I think when you get to this point, you don't want to block out anything.
She can continue playing and really have an impact at the highest level still. But I think as athletes, we know at some point it's going to come to an end, and I think it's different for each athlete. And I think you know when you know.
To come out of the tunnel and to go onto the field and to, have an opportunity to make a difference in a game, it's going to be tough to put that aside. But I mean, she's missed for so many years, so many holidays, her birthdays, everything. She's missed so much because she was always traveling. It must wear you down, and I think she's going out at the right time.
Whether she changes positions, whether she's starting, not captain, not injury, healthy, I would say she's so resilient, and she has to be so proud of her career, and she can leave the game with peace.
Killian service floating. Lloyd, and that finds the corner for Sky Blue FC, and they have found the equalizer.
She did it all herself. Like, she did it from hard work. And I think that's her message that she wants to get to the young girls. And just to tell them that it's hard work. It's hard work.
I think what's pretty unbelievable is just how content I feel, how at peace I feel, and I'm going to become the biggest fan and do everything I possibly can to help continue to grow this game.
Big night in Portland last night. Mark Parsons' team gets to lift the NWSL Shield. Well deserved. What a year.
Yeah, it certainly has been. They have been so consistent throughout, even during the Olympic break, players stepping up, making an impact. Very deserving from the Portland Thorns.
Washington wins, so Houston's out. North Carolina is in. Those are the matchups.
Yeah, and I have my eyes on that 3-6 with Washington and North Carolina. North Carolina thanking Washington, but then guess what? Playing each other next weekend. Really good matchup between those two, I expect.
And they all want to get to the 2021 NWSL Championship game. It's presented by Budweiser. It's Saturday, November 20th. It's live on CBS at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time from Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Another big night. Last night in Kansas City, they unveiled their new name for next year. It's the Kansas City Current, and they wore different uniforms for the second half. Well done, Kansas City.
Yeah, fun new branding, or rebranding, we should say, coming into the game last night. And then look at this facility, $70 million stadium, $15 million training facility. The dedication from this ownership is second to none. Look forward to visiting soon.
Final regular season game for Carly Lloyd, but she knows now that she has one game at least left. It'll be in the playoffs starting next week. Let's see what the second half brings. The first half was scoreless. Carly Lloyd's Gotham FC 0-0 versus Racing Louisville after 45 minutes of play. And before we get back to the action, let's get to know a little more about Chris Dynasco from Gotham FC with tonight's player profile. It is presented by MasterCard, winning a 2013 NCAA title with UCLA. She leads this team in assists. Remarkable year. And remember, she has overcome 3 ACL tears. Happy Halloween to everyone. Chris just spent time with Marissa Pillow on that last interview. We thank her for that. Medford loves Lloyd. Everybody loves Lloyd. This is like a love fest, right? All week.
Certainly.
For sure.
For multiple weeks.
Yeah. One more half to go. We'll see how long Carly does play, though, in this half. They've got a full week before they'll play at Chicago next weekend. Second half underway. If you're just joining us, Gotham FC is in black, Racing Louisville in white. No changes to report at halftime. Nagasato with it. Lori, what does each team have to do better in this second half?
Well, for Racing Louisville, it's continued to go with the game plan. They've been really stingy defensively, worked hard as a team to deny Gotham a ton of opportunities. It's been in the final third, but they haven't had a lot of opportunities. So can you get Kaiser? Can you get Savannah McCaskill? You look at this Racing Louisville team as a whole, really quality side, just haven't been able to find the back of the net consistently throughout this year. So can they use this game, the last one of the regular season out of the playoffs, to be able to build on that, fine-tune some things going in to next season and this offseason? And for Gotham FC, this is about mentality. This is about pushing the pace in some ways and then finding the players like McCullers Zaboni on the ball, Allie Long to dictate the tempo and then find even better opportunities in their attacking third.
The Lewandowski pass is good to the right. Dynasco. Long. Eddie's wide open on that left side. Now it goes to Eddie. Intended for Anumanu, and that's cut off. Eddie will play it back. It's towards Long. Covered by Long. Freeman.
And JP, in this second half for Gotham, it's really going to be about the positioning of Elizabeth Eddy on that left-hand side, where she picks up the space. Can she force Neely Martin to come out? That will leave the space in behind for Anumanu to be able to run into.
Hurst on the move, playing it across. The 2 runners there in the box, Lloyd and Anumanu, but neither were hit. Offside on Semlin. Carly's parents, what a busy weekend it's been for them as well, right? They've been traveling all over.
They're celebrities now too, JP.
Steve and Pam Lloyd. Good to see them here. They were also at yesterday's Red Bull game with Carly. Final regular season game for Carly Lloyd. We thought that they were going to need to win this game to get into the playoffs, but yesterday's draw at Portland with North Carolina meant that Gotham clinched the spot. And now that we've seen all these other results, we know that they're going to finish where they are, which is where they started the day. In the 5th spot. Kawasumi. It's Lloyd. Didasco. 7-game unbeaten streak on the line today for the home team. Gotham for Eddie. Had 2 to beat. Kawasumi. Eddie. The return. The cross to the middle. Zaboni went up for it. Couldn't get it. Cleared by Nagasato. Recovered now by Freeman. Battle for the ball. And it's just going to be cleared out by Neely Martin. Something for Emily Fox in the first half. Ball going out of play. I'm sure Gotham would have liked to have finished higher in the standings, but to know that they made the playoffs for the first time, Roy, since 2013, that's a major selling point for them.
Oh, it certainly is. And the way they started this season, which they lost to the Portland Thorns in the Challenge Cup early on in the final, but have consistently continued to push where they are on the field, find ways to get results. Really deserving for this team to find themselves in the playoffs.
Freeman for Gotham, up for Lloyd. Carly got a piece of Malay, it looked like, who's down on that right side. Pass ahead from Didasco to Zerboni, and then back into the box for Manu. Trying to reach for it, almost got to it.
It's the first real early ball that we've seen from Caprice Didasco on that right-hand side, floated into the box. Manu at the end was going to be able to take it with her chest, at least take a first touch. Opts to try to go first time.
Play was stopped. Malay, I think, got either a hand in the face when she was challenging Lloyd. Going off now to the sideline. I mentioned the 3 other games, they were all close between these 2 teams. This one is the same. Let's go downstairs to Marissa Pilla.
Louisville's Mario Sanchez said the highlight of the first half for his team was their box defending, but then laughed and said that's not always a good thing, because that means we were under pressure most of the first half. He said in the second, Louisville needs to be better on the ball, quicker and cleaner in transition. He said that first half simply wasn't good enough, but he is confident that Louisville can play better in the second.
Well, they were good defensively, and coming into this game, they knew they needed to press higher up the field, so they didn't have to absorb all the pressure from Gotham. Gotham did a good job in that first half pinning them in. So it is about those transitional moments, finding those outlet players. Can you get Savannah McCaskill, really game-changer type player that we haven't seen on the ball enough? She get face forward and start to link up with Ebony Salmon.
The Kawasumi pass, springs purse, into the box, thought about it, and then it's cleared. Flicked by McCaskill. Kaiser scored their first ever goal in the Challenge Cup several months ago.
There's got to be better awareness from Kaiser in those moments. She's so good on the ball. She wants to take on 1v1. We've seen her in that higher up position, the number 9 central forward as well. But in those moments, instead of losing the ball in the dangerous area and giving the ball right back to Gotham, can she just link play, get herself higher up the field, and allow them to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, dictate the tempo themselves.
Ball slipped through nicely for Eddie. Edge of the box, the cross for Lloyd. Go! It's Carly and it's 1-0.
And it's no surprise that it's Carli Lloyd, throughout her entire career, has shown up when it matters most, scoring goals in big games. And she makes no mistake about it here, just finds herself, times her run perfectly. We talked about the positioning of Eddie getting into the attack. It's a great ball in, and then Carli Lloyd meets it perfectly. Just connects well past Lund, put her team up 1-0 when it matters most.
It's her 4th goal of the regular season, and back to live action with Sheridan. I was going to say swing and a miss. She didn't miss that one. It's a corner. Great job by Sheridan to keep her shutout. That would have been a tying goal about, what, a half a minute later?
She had to come up with a couple big saves on Thursday evening as well to keep Gotham in the game. Talked about those transitional moments for Louisville. Quick counterattack for them right after that goal.
Caskill's corner. First one, it's driven across. It's loose in the box. Sheridan will get to it, but there was a foul there on Racing. And the yellow card for that last kick, as that ball was kicked after the whistle. It'll be the second booking of the day. Carli Lloyd's parents to the right of your screen, saluting their daughter who gets the first goal of the game. Her 4th of the season, the 53rd minute, the assist going to Eddie. Eddie will hold it.
And JP, we'll see the response from Racing Louisville, already out of the playoffs, but they're here to play for pride, wanting to get a win in this season on a strong note. So will they step up their pressure, come out of that defensive posture that they've been in, look to see if they can get the equalizer.
Freeman. Here's Purse on the move. Players open on the right, knocked away. Didasco catching up to it, sending it into the box. Brought down. Lloyd, a little bit of trickery on the turn. Pass across right there to Zerboni, taken away. Maybe the counter on here for Louisville. Nagasato will lead it. Salmon to the left side, McCaskill to the right. Here's Salmon, and it's Lewandowski who did well in that recovery run.
Yeah, certainly a bit of heavy touch from Salmon. She's trying to get herself separated from Lewandowski, but great positioning defensively from Lewandowski to be able just to calmly collect the ball and get it out of danger.
Freeman, 3 subs up now for Gotham FC with a 1-0 lead. McCaskill, 1 against 2. Played in front, and that's going to be cleared out for a throw-in. We see the changes now. We will. 3 of them coming on. Carli Lloyd with the only goal of the game. She's going to be, they haven't put up the number yet. She's going to stay in, Carly. They get the captain's armband from Zerboni, so that'll be one of the changes. So Carly will continue. Here's her goal.
Yeah, and a great goal it is. Just timing her run, getting in. Too easy defensively to leave a player of Carly Lloyd's caliber wide open. Just finds herself in between the two center backs for Racing Louisville, but times it perfectly. All she has to do is redirect it down into that near post. What a goal from the number 10.
So the 3 changes were made. Cujo, Skrosky, and Monahan all coming in. Zerboni out, Lewandowski out, Anamano out. 1-0. Gotham leads on that Carly Lloyd goal. Getting close to the hour mark with Gotham on top. If they can win this at home, it'll be their 5th home win. It would tie their record for most wins at home, set in 2013, which ironically is the last time they made the playoffs. Lloyd now wearing the captain's armband, given to her by Zerboni when she made her exit. Here's Carly. When I saw the 3 subs up, Lori, I wasn't sure if Carly was going to be coming out or not.
If it's up to Carly, JP,
Yeah,
she's not coming out this game.
If it's up to her, she's staying in. And again, they've got all week to prepare now for Chicago and the Red Stars. And congratulations to Rory Dames and their team. 6 consecutive trips to the playoffs, the first NWSL team that can say that. And Chicago will finish as the number 4 seed. Washington finished 3, Gotham 5, and North Carolina in a strange spot, but they'll be happy. They made the playoffs. On this right side, Vasco was slowed down. Got to tell you, it wasn't looking good for North Carolina. We all knew that their last game was at Portland. A lot of us figured Portland wins that game. Carolina gets the draw, stays alive for one more day, and today they get in. And as you know, all you got to do is get in, right, to have a chance.
Exactly, and if I'm a betting woman, I would bet on this North Carolina team. As much like we talked about with the Washington Spirit, credit to the players,
for sure,
putting it all out there. And when it mattered most, needed to get that point last night against Portland away from home. Never easy to go there at Providence Park and have to get some sort of result. Did enough. Had to rely on Washington today, but
changes coming for Louisville soon. They've got 3 subs up as well, including Taylor Otto. It's header brought down. Louisville in white on the ball, playing up that left side. Nagasato putting it into space. Salmon was on the run, but it comes back to Sheridan in goal. Toss ahead. On this left side, it's going to be too long. We were talking before about Chicago. Making the playoffs was fine. Finishing where they did was fine. Remember, Alyssa Nair's injury missed a lot of time. Julie Ertz, and they still get it done. Louisville have their 3 subs up and ready to come in. And they include Erin Simon, Taylor Otto, and Katie McClure. Skrosky will push it to the right to a fellow Rutgers alum. This ball goes out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Racing Louisville. Subs are ready, waiting on the referee, and now we've got it. And so Salmon will have her day done. Didn't get much service today, but a terrific player to watch for the future, for sure. So here come the changes. 1922, Simon, Otto, and McClure. Salmon is one that has come out. Looked like Martin came out, which is interesting because she was a sub earlier. Not often that you see a subbed out.
Yeah, which makes me think, could they be changing their formation a little bit to be able to get themselves back into this game, get the equalizer, get more momentum going forward in the attack?
Yeah, they're only one goal down.
It does look like Erin Simon, though, is going into that right back position. Direct swap for Neely Martin.
Back to goal. Lund will hold. Push to the right side. It's blocked by Long. Freeman, 64th minute. Gotham trying to stretch their unbeaten streak to 8. Coming back to goal. Sheridan is there.
This is such a good look at what Kaylin Sheridan brings to this Gotham side. Ability to be able to ping the ball first time.
Purse is on the move. 3 in the box, including Lloyd. It's deflected out. It's a corner for Gotham. We're going to see another change as well. Gaetan Tine is going to be coming into the game. It's for Midge Purse. That is the 4th change made for Gotham. Off that corner, up for grabs. And now it's going to be cleared to safety by Racing Louisville. So Purse is left, Anumanu is left. Carly Lloyd remains out there wearing the armband of the trio that started up top. Tine, French international, now it's knocked out, belongs to Racing. Gotham FC 6-1-4 when scoring the first goal of the game. Louisville has allowed it. They're 1-12-1. Lloyd sending it all the way across. Didasco on a bounce. Trying to go longer. Paige Monahan hustling. It's taken back. Played to the left. High pressure there. Taken away. Monahan, good job. Turning is Tine. Off reel on a miss hit. Throwing for Gotham.
Paige Monahan immediately gets herself involved in this game. Substitute in the second half. Scott Parkinson, one of those players that he feels like could start for Gotham FC, but is so integral in terms of bringing her off the bench, elevating their play when needed.
Freeman inside the circle. Carly Lloyd is going to get a curtain call here. One more sub. Challenge made there. Foul was given. Evelyn Bien is the last sub. Ready to come in. Long's pass ahead. Monahan moving it to the right side. The cross by Kawasumi is intercepted. Cleared away. Gotham do get some numbers back. Some good recovery runs here. Nagasato's pass to the left sideline. Racing will keep it in. Numbers headed for the box. Gotham appear to have it covered. Played in, off long, it stays there. And not sure what was called. It was called a handball. It's a penalty. I didn't see her point to the spot. But apparently, that's what's happened. I looked to see if there was a flag up. There was not. So, Ali Long apparently handled it, and a chance now to draw level. 4 kicks taken on penalties against Sheridan this year. She has not stopped one. Chance to equalize on this shot, and that's a goal. 1-1.
It's a really well taken penalty kick from Cece Kaiser, just stepping up. Kaylin Sheridan goes one way, she puts it the other way. That all started from Savannah McCaskill getting herself in 1v1 positions. We talked about her being a difference maker when she gets on the ball. It's a dangerous ball whipped in, and then it's Ali Long. You can see her hand just not in a position next to her body. Good call from the referee to step up and call that a handball, and then Cece Kaiser puts it away, and the momentum have shifted. We thought Carly Lloyd was maybe going to make her way off the field. We'll see if that substitution is still going to happen.
Kaiser's 5th of the regular season, 7th in all competitions. Lloyd was supposed to come out, and might still, because Gotham will stay in 5th place no matter what. I think they'd like to get her that curtain call and the last ovation for this final regular season game.
And a lot of credit to Louisville, keeping themselves in this game. Well, it's something we talked about a ton throughout this season. The record wouldn't show it for how young this team is, finishing in 9th place, but really has made life difficult for a lot of the teams. Just hasn't had enough in the final third to execute on the chances that they've created themselves.
This was the score the other night. It was a score in a previous game, 1-1 here. They also played 0-0 in a Challenge Cup game. For whatever reason, these two match up well against each other. Eddie drives that long. Was looking for Lloyd. That's a foul. Free kick. Gotham. Foul on Otto. 71st minute. The substitution is going to happen. Carly Lloyd just took a look over to the sideline and sees that that is her number. She is going to make her exit from this last regular season game.
Special moment for this special player. Really a joy to be witnessing these last several weeks of her career. And JP, I feel confident in saying we will never see a player of this caliber over the longevity of her career, the numbers that she's put up consistently in big games throughout. What a special moment.
She's so different from all the other great stars in the past, right? Because of the way she did it, how she did it, the criticism that she took?
The length she's done it.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
She's 39.
Yeah.
Playing in over 3 decades, the 4 World Cups, the 4 Olympics, the big goals, and still with a minimum of 1 more game to play, and she hopes more.
Well, it's up to Carly. It will certainly be more.
Quick shot taken, but it's right at Sheridan. They know they have to go to Chicago next week as the NWSL playoffs start.
For everything that she's won, actually everything that you could imagine in this sport, she has won, except for an NWSL title. And that will certainly be on these players' minds going forward. Start of the playoffs next weekend.
Played across by Cujo. Too far for Didasco. Made a good effort to get it. So it's 1-1, 73rd minute. And now 74th. Almost picked there. And now on the turnover, here is Gotham on the move. Yeah. On the cut, Canadian International was blocked. I think they had a good chance there with 3 in the box. How long is the 3rd person to wear the captain's armband in this game? For Gotham, here's Eddie. Deflected ball, and Lund came out and paid a price. That's shaken up on the play. The life of a goalkeeper when you're brave.
And a goalkeeper that hasn't had a ton of minutes at this level, the backup with the Washington Spirit last year, gets picked up in the expansion draft, has to come in. He's played second to Michelle Beto's majority of this season. The veteran goalkeeper has done really well for Racing Louisville, but Lund in these important games has shown up, coming out confidently, winning the free kick for her team.
75th minute, 1-1 game. Penalty kick converted by Kaiser. Equalized from a Lloyd goal earlier. Both goals coming here in the second half. Monahan now on this side. Says it's a corner. Sixth corner for Gotham. Tine setting it up, missed long, settled there. Monahan went in hard on that challenge. It's coming back towards Freeman. Launched back over Long, who's still up there from that corner. Tine. French national team player. Back it comes. Kawasumi, bending ball in, headed once, but right to Lund.
But not a bad idea from Gotham to play that ball back, but all the runners in the box already in there, nothing they can do, no momentum they can get on the header.
'76th minute, 1-1 game. Final game of the regular season. NWSL. Starting next weekend. Fighting for the ball, Nagasato. McCaskill. Kaiser. Penalty kick tied it to the left. They've got numbers in the box. If they can pull a trigger, sent up, cleared away. McCaskill keeping it low. In the center, it's cleared in the air by Freeman.
And some of this is the rotation that we're seeing with some of these players, but when Racing Louisville's patient, they get on the ball, they have good ideas going forward.
Ball knocked out for a corner. Second one for Louisville. '78th minute. Gotham FC racing Louisville. 1-1 game. Big crowd in front of Kalen Sheridan. And in swinger to the middle. It's headed once, and Sheridan calls everyone off. Rolls it ahead. Potential break coming. It's cut off by Racing Louisville. Run for the ball back. It's going to go out of play. Belongs to Gotham. It was a great hustle though from Aaron Simon, formerly from Syracuse University, and a player who used to play for Gotham when they were Sky Blue. And now Ali Long is going to come out. Lee Sodam will come in. And that'll be it for the subs. So it's probably an unofficial record, but 4 different players have now won the captain's armband for Gotham FC in this game. Freeman becomes the next one and the last one. Cujo, Didasco. '79th minute, 1-1 game. Lloyd and Kaiser, the goal scorers. Andy Freeman gaining the halfway line, looking for options, finding one there. Lisa down. And in box it comes. Be out for a goal kick.
Andy Freeman has been very good on that back line for Gotham, leading the line. Hasn't played a ton of minutes, had to step in for Estelle Johnson in his last couple of games. Stepped in seamlessly, distributing really nicely, understanding and recognizing where the space is.
Next week, those are the matchups. Chicago versus Gotham, 3 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, and then Washington versus North Carolina. 2 very good matchups. You have Portland and Seattle to go on a bye into the semifinals. Here is Paige Monahan cutting it back. Lee Sodam had it blocked. May have hesitated a tad before pulling that trigger on it. It's cut off. Cujo. Kawasumi. Does take away from a game when you do make 5 subs out of 11. So you've got 6 players that are still on the field, then 5 newcomers. It does affect the rhythm. 81st minute. Of course, they went to 5 subs after COVID. Some speculation that this year maybe they will go back to 3. Maybe next year they will. We don't know. Still TBD. Yellow card on Nagasato.
It's good understanding from Didasco, just understanding where the pressure from Nagasato is coming for. Just a little hesitation to one side to open up her hips to go the other, drawing the foul.
Free kick for Didasco, 82nd minute. A 1-1 game. This last day of the NWSL regular season. Into the box. It's intended for Bien. TNA was looking for it. Comes back out. Launch back the other way. Bien going against Otto. Kaiser will play it left. Covered by Gotham. Freeman on the bounce. towards Lee Sodam, and now it comes back.
JP, you mentioned the rhythm. This is the third right back that Racing Louisville has employed this game so far. Really, all three of them seamless, staying connected to the line. A lot of the attack for Gotham has been down the left-hand side, but done well enough to deal with the balls in the box outside of Carly Lloyd's go-ahead goal earlier in this half.
Cujo holding. Kamasumi.
If Racing Louisville can get out of this game on the road with this tie, or even a go-ahead goal in these last 10 minutes or so, a huge win for them headed into the offseason, confidence boost, ending the season strong, especially with the performance they put in here today.
Sodam Lee. Nice ball ahead. Didasco on the receiving end has Tine with her. Didasco, the shot high.
And Caprice Didasco getting in on the action. It's a great ball out from Sodam Lee to understand that Caprice Didasco had loads of space in front of her. Usually the player that's serving the ball in the box but says, hey, I want to get into the mix myself. Not a bad look, just gets underneath it in the end, sends it over the crossbar.
Lund will put it back into play. Just the one win on the road all season for Louisville was against Orlando, October 16th. Sodam's pass to the right, now played into the box, and that was cut off. The flag was up. We're going to see another change. 13 coming in. Mina Ekic. She scored their first regular season goal. So that'll be a final sub for Nagasato, who makes her exit. Nagasato at age 33, still playing at a very high level.
Yeah, I really feel that they're still trying to figure out where they can utilize her the best. So good with the final pass, composed in front of the goal, playing in that left winger position the majority of this season. Think back to those days when she played with Chicago and the connection that her and Sam Kerr had, you know, to find the final pass into Sam Kerr's runs the majority of the seasons.
Louisville sending it forward. That's going to be deflected out. Throwing for Gotham FC. In the final minutes, we're in the 86th here. Another ball out. Another throw in. Simon was going to take it, but not from there. Louisville came in as an expansion team this year, the 10th team in the league. Next year you get 2 expansion teams coming in. Everyone excited for Angel City and San Diego as the league gets some West Coast expansion. Expansion draft coming up in December. Same with the player draft, also in December, a couple of days apart. Cujo turning, shields the ball well. Finds Didasco.
Yeah, good to see Cujo getting some minutes. Those have waned as of late. Hasn't seen a lot of time in these games, but early on, important piece.
Tine blocked. A nice feed from Monahan. And now it's a foul on Gotham. '87th minute, 1-1 game.
JP, when you look at this Gotham team as well, one of the reasons why they have been so good this year is the depth. You look across the field, Evelyn Dienne coming in, Olympic gold medalist this year. You have Tine, French international, or former French international, who has been so good on the international stage earlier in her career. Cujo, it's been difficult for her to find minutes as of late. Players that can be difference makers for Gotham, just how well this team's performing as a collective unit and individually. Tough for these players to get minutes. But that will be important headed into the playoffs and give this team a different look. Some of these games and against different opposition.
Tine battles there with Kaiser. Otto for Louisville to no one in white. Comes back to Sheridan. One of the league's better goalkeepers gave that one away. McClure. Sheridan backs it up. Now has to come off her line and make the play.
Well, with how good she is with her feet, can spray balls around, a bit uncharacteristic. Makes it look easy in the end and reads the play.
Driven long and over the top, and the flag goes up. On the run by Monahan. Louisville putting it back into play. 89th minute. 1-1 game. Long ball by Cujo initially. Louisville taking over. Casca was open, but it's not played back yet. Now it's played across, and Sheridan had to go off of the line to grab that.
Nekic certainly has some different tools in her arsenal. Ability to wiggle in and out of pressure, cut defenders. Right idea to try to play that far post, just no runners on the far side.
He's passed back, Cujo. The goalkeeper's feet, Sheridan. Long ball was off target, but recovered and lost again by Didasco. Louisville's ball on a throw-in. Otto getting it in. Played across, cut off. Kawasumi, good job. Oh, Lee got rocked, no foul was given there. Surprisingly, I would say. Casco trying to get away, defending. That's blocked. Simon to the end line. Thought that ball was out, and so did the assistant referee. Goal kick. Signal for stoppage time. 3 minutes minimum. That's how much is left, approximately, of this NWSL regular season. It started with the Challenge Cup, then a 24-game regular season schedule. Ended today with one playoff position still to be determined. We found out that was North Carolina, and some seeding changed as well. Didasco. Carly Lloyd and Cece Kaiser are the goal scorers in this one, both coming in the second half. Kaiser's was on a penalty kick. It's the 5th one given up this season by Gotham. They'll have a throw in deep. Almost done with a minute of stoppage time. Apters coming back to check on Evelyn Bien. Play will resume with a throw-in from Didasco. 2nd minute of stoppage time. Stumble there. Monahan. Louisville on the ball. Otto. Blocked. Lisa Dam got it. Gotham takes over. Monahan. Tine. Didasco. Back on that right side. Monahan end line. Wanting to cut it across. Played it high and wide. Into the box in the middle. Quick turn blocked. off Lisa Dam, and then she puts it up and over. Not an easy finish.
No, I was hoping she was going to let it drop a little bit longer. But it's Monahan does well to get in line. And it's a smart play from Eddie just to play this back across the box instead of trying to go herself. Sedam Lee swinging.
Played in the last couple of World Cups for South Korea. Not on the squad the other night that faced the U.S. on Tuesday. Less than a half minute to go. Kamasumi towards the end line for Vienne. She got a touch on it. Should be a throw-in for Racing Louisville. The final whistle should be soon. Carli Lloyd scored 1 goal today. Not enough to give her team a victory. They didn't need it today, but they get the draw and continue their unbeaten streak. It's now 8 in Carli's last game. She gets a goal.
Yeah, only fitting that Carli Lloyd gets the go-ahead goal initially for Gotham FC. And, you know, no doubt that they will be upset with not getting the win in this game. We talked about the mentality-wise, this is a must-win game headed into playoffs next week. But overall, with the amount of substitutions, the rotations that they made, always going to lack rhythm at the end. So good result at home for Gotham. Now it'll be about regrouping. And Racing Louisville, point away from home, massive in terms of rebuilding and continuing to build off of what they created this year going into their second season.
They got a good streak going, unbeaten in 8. I thought they might have won their last 3 games of the season, right? No disrespect to the opponents, but they had Kansas City and Louisville, the last 2 teams in terms of the standings, and ended up with 3 draws.
Well, I agree. I thought they would as well. And you know, that's something that Scott Parkinson had mentioned to us, is that disappointed they didn't get the result away from home against Louisville to put themselves in even a better position coming into this game. However, the team is resilient. It will be about fine-tuning now, just connecting, creating even more opportunities. But listen, anytime you have Carli Lloyd on your team heading into must-win games, playoff games, there's no better player to have on your team in those moments.
In Carli Lloyd's last regular season game, she gets a goal. It's a 1-1 draw. We're coming back to wrap this up.
Welcome back to Red Bull Arena, a 1-1 draw between Gotham FC and Racing Louisville. I am here now with Carli Lloyd after her final regular season match. Carli, you scored your team's lone goal, and this crowd went absolutely wild. What were you taking in at that moment?
It was a great turnout, great crowds, even on Halloween, so that was really special. You know, I'm just really proud of this group. I think that we've really kind of come into our own towards the end of the season, and we've been pushing for a playoff spot, and it's taken every person to get to this point. So I think it was a much better game that we played and we displayed today. We just got to keep building. So my retirement is extending a little bit longer, at least for another week, and I want to keep going as long as we can.
You and Gotham are headed to the postseason for the first time in 8 years. What has turned this team into a playoff contender?
To be quite honest, I think Scott has done a really phenomenal job. I think, you know, Freya did a wonderful job in the beginning, and I think that, you know, we just had Scott come in, and he's kind of just improvised a little bit, changed things around, and I think he's just kind of gotten the best out of us. So, you know, Freya kind of set up that foundation for us, which was great, and we obviously missed her, and Scott's come in and really just kind of given us the energy and that push that we need for playoffs. But I think every player has really stepped up. We figured out what works for us, what style works for us, and every player has just contributed.
Thanks for your time, Carli, and congrats on the playoffs.
Appreciate it.
Player of the match.
Well, Carli's talked about players stepping up on this Gotham team. She's a player that has consistently stepped up when it matters. She does it again today. Great header for her. Finds herself in a terrific spot and then finds the back of the net in the end.
Bracket-wise, we know the matchups for next week. They're good ones.
Certainly good ones. Really competitive games. Washington Spirit had to win to get North Carolina in. Those two face, and now Gotham finding their way in Chicago next weekend for an excellent matchup.
Carly Lloyd's final regular season game. She gets a goal. Final score 1-1 between Gotham FC and Racing Louisville. For Lori Lindsay, Marissa Pillar, and our entire crew, I'm JP Dellacamera. We say so long from Harrison, New Jersey. Wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween. Please join us next Sunday here on CBS Sports Network for first round coverage of the 2021 NWSL playoffs at 3 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Red Stars will be hosting this Gotham FC team led by Carly Lloyd. Coming up next, the best women's bowlers in the world face off in Reno, Nevada at the PWBA Tour Championship. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.